Why, hello, everybody. Thank you for so much for tuning in. Tonight, we have a special match between the Knockout Knights and the Hellfire Hogs. This is the first official match, the first official sanctioned match of the MSA League, the Magical Sports Association League. Osgoss, how you feeling right now?
I'm really pumped to see this matchup. These are two really good teams. It should be a great first game to watch. I'm not expecting any type of big blowout here, which I really hope will make this a way more fun match for us to watch for the first time.
Absolutely. Now, we have seen these two teams play in a different tournament, the League 7 tournament. Based on the performances so far, what do you think the teams are going to be strategizing for? Do you think the Knights are going to focus more on like the snitch game, or do you think they're going to try to have a heavy quaffle presence early on?
After seeing the last few matches of theirs, and I mean, overwhelming in the league, it's been really feeling as though it's snitch race, snitch race, snitch race. The majority of the teams seem to be on that recently. As a seeker myself, I would love to see the chasers go out there and do their thing with the quaffle. Let them seekers do their thing. Don't try to knock them off their broom 8 million times in the game. Let's see what y'all can do on the quaffle side.
Okay. Now, it looks like for the Knights, I do have the lineup here. It's obviously going to be Stoner, Static Kiwi, Tails, Ludo Down, Big Pig, and Fatty Mo Matty. Who are we looking at for the side of the Hellfire Hogs?
Sorry, getting something in the background here. My computer is. All right. So, sorry, I had a little bit of a computer hiccup there, but I seem to be back for tonight. Come on. For the Hellfire Hogs, we have Pingu, Bilbo, Teabaggin, Mome, I think, Squee, Ingu, Natch, and Tama. I apologize. I was not ready for any of those pronunciations. Nor was I ready for any of those spellings, if I'm being honest with you.
Understood. Had to adjust the music volume. I appreciate Bearman. Thank you very much for pointing that out. I will try to be more cognizant of audio in the future. A lot of juggling right now.
Absolutely. I mean, we're only done a couple of these and really trying to get our feet under us. And hopefully this time you won't have to be looking at our faces for too long before we get into the match. Hopefully these cues tend to like the teams tonight, so we're not here just blabbing in your ear.
Absolutely. And it does look like they have started queuing right now. It looks like the side of the Knights are all rocking almost all the same icon. It looks like they're rocking one of the Slytherin icons. Everyone except for Maddie, who is rocking a potion icon.
It does look like the Hogs are all going to be using the same skin. So instead of icons, they're going out there with all the same uniform. So hopefully it may be a little bit easier to differentiate these teams out on the pitch today.
What's the outfit looking like for the Hogs today?
I'm trying to figure that out. Oh, looks like we had a disconnect.
Unfortunate.
But every time I switch over to find the better one, nobody actually it's all blurred out, so I can't tell you quite yet.
It looks like the Knights are also doing something similar. It looks like they're all rocking the Slytherin Dragon Tamer armor.
Okay, I like that. I do like that.
And the Dark Arts mask, the one that looks like the wolf.
it's great to see teams going out there and trying to look a little matchy, at least for a lot of the L7 games that I have participated in. There's been a little bit of that, but to see the team cohesion, I think is going to be, especially when it's on both sides, is going to make it easier for everybody to kind of keep track, because I know it can be kind of difficult when we're going back and forth, and it's just going to be great to see on the field.
Absolutely. I have to agree. All right. It looks like they are starting the queue right back up. And while we are waiting for that to queue, I'll go ahead and just give some shout outs real quick. Uh, thank you so much, guys, for being in chat. Lyseer, Jolva, Raymaster, Western, our lovely host of MSA. Thank you so much for putting everything together. I'm so glad that me and Ozgoz are here to cast these great games put on by great teams.
Absolutely. It's going to be great to finally get this little tournament started. This is only the beginning. We're going to have a bunch of weeks here to come, and it's going to be interesting to watch a matchup or a few more matchups each week because of the different leagues and tournaments we have going on now. Did they find each other?
I believe they found each other. So I'm going to go ahead and switch us right over to the side of the Knockout Knights, looking at Static Kiwi up first.
And we are back in the lobby once again, folks.
Ooh, that is unfortunate. Sometimes everything is set up right, and sometimes one person just has a small issue, forces a disconnect, having to restart. But seeing that these teams were able to get each other on the second try, I think these teams are about the same MMR wise, so that way it shouldn't be that much of a problem to queue each other back again.
Yeah, hopefully, seeing how quick they're able to do it, it gives me hope that we won't be here for too long in between the matches, which it's way better for my voice, and I think way better for the viewers actually trying to watch the game instead of just looking at our ugly mugs for an hour on end.
Oh, I actually did get a clarification. That was actually a map dodge rather than a disconnect. Looks like that was the Quidditch World Cup Sunset map, which most players have agreed that they are just not willing to play on. It's a little unfair, unsighted. It just makes it incredibly difficult to maintain a valid game state.
That is understood. I didn't see which version of World Cup it was enough to notice, but I 100% can understand that one.
I think most people who have played on that map can totally understand.
Absolutely. It does look like we are back searching. Let's hope we can get in. Oh, looks like they're finding a map. Yep, looks like we're getting right back into it.
And before I switch over, I'm just going to confirm that we do have the same game. And I do see it looks like the Hogs and the Knights have found each other once again. I'm going to put us right back into the seat of Static Kiwi, the Seeker.
Co-commentator for this match. Hello, I'm Rita Skeeter, but of course you know already. It's today's competitors who so let's meet them, shall we? It's a beautiful day for the
all right, it does look like the Knights are gonna grab. Oh, nope. Hellfire Hogs have picked it right back up, heading down towards rings. We got a pass going to midfield. Mine.
I apologize for the audio issue. I having multiple streams up at the same time can make it a little difficult. We are now looking at the perspective of Fatimo Matty, currently in possession, passing the ball upfield. Looks like he's trying to make a play on the Seeker or just play a little bit more off to the side, going for a one-time kick, and he gets it. First goal of the game, 6:15 left in the match. Currently 10-0 for the side of the Knockout Knights.
Yeah, that was a great play to reverse that back around. It did look like the Hogs were going to get down to the rings, but next thing you know, they got that turn right back around. We got to pass back up. We are getting, well, they're really trading the steals so far this game, especially down by the rings. It's really nice to see all that extra aggression on the field and, really watching all these players really get into the action, get into the mix.
Currently, Fatty Momati in possession, doing a little shovel pass. Looks like he didn't find an intended receiver. Now picked up by the Hogs.
That's trying to
But
see
stolen
who
right back.
does look. Oh, yep, we do get the steal by Pingu. He's going to pass it up the field. Looks like they may be trying to set up for a one-timer somewhere. He decides to try to get the cook, but unfortunately, that bacon was too raw, and we're going back down the field.
And Cowntail's not even needing a true assist or a one-timer, just puts it right into the goal. Now, with the snitch race being so close, we are going to switch back over to Static Kiwi. Currently, looks like their stream is a little slow. We may have to adjust that whenever we get into the after game. Looks like they are a little behind on the snitch. Tama is currently ahead, going by their goals, but Static Kiwi is not one to be put down. Flying through the mid, they could easily catch right back up.
Yeah, they are really going neck and neck here, trying to trade bumps back and forth, getting tackled by each other's beaters. This is a really fun race to watch. Both of these seekers are very good, and they are just neck and neck trying to be the first to get their hands on the snitch. And Tama does come up with it, pulling the Hogs up 10 points, or 20 points over the Knockout Knights.
Fatty Momete looks like he tried to go for a shuck over the keeper, but unfortunately the kick did connect, getting the steal away. But he is playing a little closer to Quarterfield. Does not get the intercept that he was looking for, nor the one-timer. Currently in possession of the Hogs. The Hogs go for it, and they get another goal, putting them up 50-20. 3 minutes and 10 seconds left in the match.
Yeah, that's really good by the Hogs. We are 3 minutes in. They already have a 30-point lead. As long as their keeper can keep that quaffle out of the rings, it's just, oh, I spoke too soon. The snitch insurance that I was trying to explain has now, for the time being, disintegrated.
And it looks like Pingu takes down Fatty Momati, just looking for a little bit of an edge as far as the Quaffle game is concerned. They're trying to push out the Knights just to make sure that they don't get any chance to come back. Knights look like they are a little bit ahead on the snitch chase by about 5% or so.
Yeah, I've been watching. They've been still going back and forth on the Seeker game. Tama does look to be a little closer right now, but playing against Static Kiwi, I can tell you, you may look closer, but she will be right behind you, just out of icon range, and still right there trying to take that snitch from you.
And Cowntails with another beautiful goal, just really close, getting up in the keeper's face, putting it right into those rings, saying, I don't care. You can try to stop me, but these goals are going in regardless. Putting this at 40-50, minute 35 seconds left in the match. It does look like the Hogs are now a little bit ahead. Ooh, and with Static Kiwi going down by the bleeder, that does look like that is going to be a huge, huge chunk taken away from their snitch game.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty difficult for them to come back to. Now, it's not impossible, but the Knights will really have to switch their strategy over and really kind of just hone in on Tama and see if they can get a kill trade just so they can try to even this out.
And they do get the one-timer goal, putting it 50-60, 48 seconds left in the match. Snitch Race is very close. And it does look like the Knights are actually ahead on the Snitch Race. It looks like they're about 95%. Does get hit by a beater, gets knocked back down, but 30 seconds is enough time definitely to catch the Snitch, especially with the last 30 seconds. And that rate increase is exponential as it gets closer to 0.
And it does look like Tama is going to get that quick turn and grab the snitch, putting this game a little bit too far out of reach for the Knights.
Yeah, especially with 17 seconds left in the match, you can get a goal every 15 to 20 seconds, depending on the team you're truly going against. And unfortunately, that is not enough time to truly get the comeback that they were looking for. They did go for one additional goal to try to put it to 60-90, just to have that little extra feather in the cap. But unfortunately, with that, the time has expired. This game has ended 90-50 for the side of the Hellfire Hogs.
Yeah, that was a great game, just as we kind of predicted before we went in there. It definitely wasn't a blowout. They're basically trading blows back to back the entire 7 minutes. That was great to watch.
Absolutely. Now, the one thing that I noticed, there weren't a lot of Seeker deaths. There were only like one or two in the entire match for both teams. Um, I haven't seen their builds or their broom selections at this point in time. But what did you notice about the snitch race from the side of the Hellfire Hogs? I know you were more focused intently on the Hogs while I was looking at the Knockout Knights.
Yeah, I mean it definitely didn't. It didn't seem like there was a full team uh, embrace, at least from the Knights to Tama. I mean, at least when I was looking, it wasn't reminiscent of some games that I've been in before, where every half second you have somebody diving at you. Um, so I think a little bit less of that aggression definitely kind of helped them out, staying alive. But obviously, towards the end of the match, when we saw Kiwi go down, and that's when I think they started really turning a little bit more on the seeker game, because both teams were just trying to rack up those extra points and pull it out of the possibility for their opponents.
Absolutely. Now, if you're the side of the Knockout Knights, what adjustments do you think need to be made to turn this from a 2-0 to a 1-1 in this second match?
As much as I'd hate to say it, they have to. They really are going to have to try to get on bullying Tama a little bit more. His ability, like, he got 60 out of those 90 points in the last game. The Seeker just has the ability to do that. So if you really want to save those 60, you're going to have to keep the Seeker down, or at least keep him behind yours to get that 60 for yourself.
Absolutely, I have to agree. Now, in the game of Quidditch, this is obviously a whole big rock paper scissors match, right? Like, if you focus way too hard on Quaffle game, you lose the snitch game. If you focus way too much on the snitch game, sometimes you lose out on those Quaffles because they're just way too overpowering, and you can get, in the time that it takes to catch a snitch, you can score 5 goals. So I think if you're the side of the Hogs, are you making any changes to the gameplay strategy, or are you sticking with what won you the first game?
I mean, I'm a big fan of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I would, if I was in their ears right now, I would tell them to play their game just like they did, because it'd be a real shame if they just tried to switch everything up and had to end up going to that game 5. So personally, I would say stick with the game plan, do what you have been doing, because it's been working.
Gotcha. And it does look like we have a small substitution on the side of the Knockout Knights. Looks like their lineup is now Fatty Momati, Ludo Down, Static Kiwi, Big Pig, Count Tails, and Dementor. It looks like Stoner may be taking a backseat just as a coach for this particular game.
That is an interesting change, but I don't hate it.
Now, you're obviously in the Hogs. Are you seeing any substitutions on their end?
I'm trying to. Yes, it does look like we have Jack D53 popping in. I'm trying to remember exactly who he's switching out for, but with the names being a little bit creative, it's a little bit hard to remember which creative name is no longer in the list.
Of course. It looks like Count-Tails is moving to Keeper, and Dementor is taking up the mantle of Chaser in light of Count-Tails moving to Keeper. That's an interesting choice. I haven't seen Count-Tails on Keeper in my own personal games, but there's hundreds of games that take place every day. I can't necessarily see them all, right?
Yeah, I'm actually pretty sure he's been there more often than not when I see him. I mean, the last few days it's been Chaser from what I can, remember offhand. But yeah, I'm distinctly remembering just a little bit more Keeper.
Okay. So as a captain of a team yourself, Ozgaz, what are you looking for as far as like the teams that you play against? Like, what do you notice that your team does very well, and some things that they might need to improve on?
Well, right now that's a pretty difficult question. With my team, obviously, we're all a bit newer and haven't really been hit with the competition yet. So right now, it's for me, my focus as the team captain is just trying to make sure we are building our current, the team chemistry, feeling good, kind of on and off the field with each other. To when you're playing for each other, you're going to play a little bit harder. So that's been my focus. But we're in a little bit of a different situation than most teams right now, since we kind of just formed up as a formal group within the last week. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. But if you have a revision of that, hit me with it.
So I did see that there were some updates to the roster as far as in a different league. Has the roster obviously made those changes over in MSA? Because I know that the Houston Spartans are a team for MSA as well. Has the roster been updated in MSA as well?
As of this point, no. We did not get a full team registration or a team registration in for MSA this time around. There was already a little bit of things going on, and it's, as a captain, one of the hardest things is really scheduling the matches around everybody, and nobody really wanted to try to do that twice. But because we haven't really had a lot of 3 games up to this point, and hard to know if we'll actually have the time to get that in without.
And it does look like we did get into a game. We are going to be looking at, once again, the side of the Knockout Knights going up against the Hellfire Hogs. On kickoff, it does look like Knockout Knights lost the kickoff, but they do get the pickup, now heading upfield, now in possession of Fatty Mo Matty with a quick little dodge to make sure that he is out of the way and safe. Does get the goal on the keeper within the first 20 seconds, especially after the first game loss. That's got to feel good.
Oh yeah, They wanted nothing but that starting out on the kickoff. They want to make a move as quick as possible and hope to use that as a little bit of a springboard as the game goes on. And so far, it looks like they may be getting that done.
Now, one thing to note is that Static Kiwi did go down early in the snitch race, which is why the snitch meter is so there's such a great disparity between the two. It looks like the hogs are up to about 20%, while the knights are currently sitting at about 10%.
Yeah, they do have that early lead on the snitch. Tama did just get a successful bludger deflection and even stunned the beater with the hey, get out of here. So he's doing very well trying to keep up with that snitch. Let's see if Static Kiwi can give him a little bit more trouble this time and maybe grab those 30 points.
Ooh, and it does look like Counttails did go down. It looks like they were targeted a little hard by the beater and they were dropped. But the side of the Knockout Knights are not going to let an easy goal get scored on them, just to make sure that while Counttails does go down, they are playing that defense that they really need to.
Yeah, that is great teamwork. I can almost bet that Count Tails was screaming cover, 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 and their team really turned around and helped him in his time of need. That's great to see.
4 minutes and 50 seconds left in the match. It looks like the snitch is coming up on about 80% right now. Quaffle is in possession of Fatty Momati with a great little quick dodge to make sure that he gets out of the way. Does shovel it off to Dementor. Dementor does put it in, putting it at 20 to 20, 4 minutes and 31 seconds left in the match.
Yeah, we are now tied. Just they're keeping it neck and neck. Unfortunately for the Knights, however, the Hogs do look like they are going to keep that snitch lead. It doesn't look like it's a lot on the screen, but that is a considerable lead from Tama right now. Let's see if he can hold it down and make this game 50-20.
And Fatty with a great dodge gets past the keeper, puts it 30 to 20. So even if they lose out on the snitch race, it is only going to be 50-30. But it does look like the Knights come back and catch the
Ooh.
snitch, putting it 60 to 20, 3 minutes and 47 seconds left.
It looks like we may be going to a game 3 at this point. The Knights have really turned around and said, "Thank you, sir. I will have another." And it looks like they're going to take this game back. It's too early to call that, though. A score and a snitch catch from the Hogs could easily tie this up.
Absolutely. We do see Fatty playing a little bit more defense rather than just being the pure aggressive chaser. Uh, he is trying to play a little bit more of that midfielder, but as some people have pointed out in chat, he's not necessarily going for the seeker as much as another type of midfielder would. But I think that as the snitch meter gets closer to the catch, that's when we're going to see him truly turn from being a defense to being a basically a second beater. Currently, Snitch Race is leading in the side of the Knockout Knights, 60-20. They are upfield. It looks like he's going for a top ring, and he does get it. Fatty Mo Matty with 3 goals on the board, putting them at 30 out of 70 points scored for the side of the Knockout Knights.
Yeah, they're really starting to pull away from the Hogs now. It is still possible for the Hogs to catch up. They will need those extra quaffle scores and that snitch catch. But the way the Knights are playing right now, I'm not seeing that too probable, but I'm hopeful to see what they can pull off.
Fatty goes for a dodge and a shovel pass. Unfortunately, does not get the intended recipient that he's truly looking for. Currently in the possession of the Hogs.
All right, so we do get another score there by the Hogs, trying to do what they can to get this score up. It does look like the snitch race is close. With it's on my end, it's looking like Tama just has it a little bit over Static Kiwi, but it is they are really progressing basically at the same rate. It's going to be another close catch.
Absolutely. The Knights look like they are a little bit behind, but it looks like their team is absolutely turning the heat on for the side of the Hogs. And it looks like, unfortunately, Ludo does go down as a chaser for the Knights. Currently, the snitch meter is about 95% as opposed to about 87.5 to a 90% for the side of the Hogs. This could end the game right now if they do get a catch. I think the Hogs have to turn on the pressure to stop Kiwi from scoring. And as we said it, Kiwi goes down, now putting it at 70-30. The snitch is almost caught for the side of the Hogs. And there it is, 70-60, 45 seconds left in the match.
I swear you must have gotten grade A aces in your divination class because you couldn't have called that at a better time. As soon as you're calling about the secret aggression, they did, or they were able to take Static Kiwi down, and that at the end of the day is what gave Tama the ability to grab that snitch.
Absolutely. Just from a strategic point of view, if you're down by, 40 points and you know that they're about to catch the snitch, which is going to end the game, you have to turn up that pressure. You have to stop them from catching that. That 30 points goes from you being one goal behind to the game being completely over.
Absolutely. We have two, and they almost had a chance to bring that and end that there, but it does look like we are gifted in this first match to actually take it to a game three.
Wow, what an absolutely phenomenal game two. We saw the comeback. We saw them regroup, refocus, recenter, have a little bit of a roster change, and I think that that worked out well for them. Now, I noticed in particular that obviously with Counttails moving to Keeper rather than being on Chaser, and they have Dementor on Chaser, um, that 70 points being broken down, obviously 30 of that was the snitch race, and then the other 40 is going to come from quaffles. So if you're looking at goals scored, or if you're the side of the Hogs, are you putting more pressure on Maddie, or are you going to try to apply more pressure generally to the chasers all around?
I mean, at that point, honestly, I would still try to keep it going around. Um, for me, it's a little bit. I may have a different take on it, but if you can kind of get that around, get everybody's mental a little bit off, especially here in a game three, I think that could really make a huge difference in how they end up playing if they're all kind of a little bit on edge because they're all getting a little bit of extra pressure.
Totally agree. Now we are seeing a lot of, maybe not a lot. We are seeing some seekers go down on average about 2 times per match, and that's just throughout the snitch races. Do you think that they've made adjustments to their brooms or builds to add extra survivability or extra dodges, or just to be a little bit more maneuverable to maintain their life on the pitch rather than falling to the grass?
I mean, it's always a possibility, but it can be a risky move, especially just if you've been practicing with this build and you're in broom for X amount of time. That little bit of change, if you switch that broom and you have a little bit less dodge distance, or just something else is taking you off your game, it can kind of take you out of your normal flow. But if it's a broom in a build that you've actually had time and you feel and you're more comfortable with it, that's when you want to go with. At the end of the day, you want to be as comfortable and confident in what you are doing to make sure you end up actually getting out of there with a W.
Absolutely. And it looks like from the side of the Knights, we are going to get one additional POV from the side of Dementor, who I may have missed out on their particular stream in the MSA Discord in that match, and I do apologize if that's the case.
Oh, come on. Yeah, it's great to see all the different points of view available over there. Obviously, in a perfect world, we would have some way to be able to share it around a little bit easier. But we gotta work with what we got and do the best we can. And um, I think giving you being able to stay over with the knockout nights for the games, just because they have the extra ability to move, it probably definitely the way to go. Um, but I'm definitely looking or excited to see what this third match brings. They look doesn't look like the teams are really ready to go. They're probably taking a minute. You're heading into the last game. Everybody's one up. They probably want to go ahead and talk out game plan just in case.
Absolutely. I do see, as far as obviously in the voice chats, I do see that Stoner is still in the voice chat as well. I think he is providing some maybe a third person perspective for the teams as far as like a rotation is concerned, or kind of looking around and seeing things that need to change. And it looks like we are just going to be waiting a little bit for those teams to queue into each other. While we are doing that, I'm going to turn up the music a little bit, and I will put us on a brief intermission. We shall return post haste. And we are back. We did get into the game. Currently, I'm going to be looking at the side of Dementor, giving them a little bit of love, especially since we did not catch their first game in, being game 2.
Yeah, we're really hoping this game 3 is another exciting one. The last two have been great in the fact that we've been able to go back and forth and give us a little bit of extra time on the field, or pitch rather. Let's use more accurate wording. Um, I think is really makes this for a great matchup as we predicted in the beginning. It's gone back and forth. Nothing has been a supreme blowout, and it's been a blast so far. It does look like that the Knights were able to get that early 10 points. You gotta love seeing it. And do you think that they really should be keeping all of that extra uh, aggression now, or do you think that they should be really trying to switch over to the seeker game maybe a little early and
I definitely
disrupt
think
that?
I think the side of the Knights is going to be looking to play a little bit more aggressive. Obviously, in the in the 4 snitch catches so far, the Hogs have caught 3 of them. One thing I did notice is that it looked like early on, Big Pig did get the takedown on Bilbo Baggins. And it looks like they're going to try to play a little bit more to protect the Seeker as far as this game goes.
Oh, and it does look like Fatty Mo Matty with the longer shot there gets it past Mome for that extra 10 points. We are now up 20-0 for the side of the Knights. The keeper's going to be kicking it out, and Jack is going to be trying to bring this upfield. But Maddie does take the ball and is turning around, maybe trying to hit that second goal in a row.
And he gets it. I am noticing that the side of the Knights does have a significant lead, although they did just get knocked down a little bit by a beater bat, pushing about 60% to the Hogs, 45 to 50%.
Yeah, they are really trying to put this one away quick and in a hurry. They really had a little bit more luck on both sides, both the Quaffle and the Snitch side of the game. They are not letting up just yet.
And it does look like the Chasers did get a nice little punch to stop the Quaffle from moving upfield. They do pass it right back to Mome as the keeper, just making sure that they're going to be playing as much as possible. But the Knights do get the intercept, now pushing it right back upfield, but it is stolen by the Hogs. This is just back-to-back steals and intercepts in this particular game.
Yet neither team really wants to be giving up this ground, and they are doing their best to say, "You shall not pass," both down the field and to each other.
Snitch Race is getting really close right now, about 95% to 90%. We are going to be switching right back over to the side of Static Kiwi, now at 100% at about full HP. They are just trying to go as far as possible, but Tama comes out with the catch, putting it 30 to 50, 3 minutes and 36 seconds left in the game.
Yeah, I think the Knights are really just going to have to do their best to be serial killers right now. Thomas should be getting absolutely barreled on right now if they want to try to get this lead back up. It's been the one thing that they've kind of been lacking. Yes, they were looking very strong at the beginning of the match, but just towards the end there, something kind of broke down, and Tom was able to come back up with it once again. And if they cannot stop him, they will end up take. Oh, and look at that! As I am saying it, Tama gets taken out by Fatty Momati, already doing what I was, or putting into practice what I just put into words.
Dementor did go for a nice little attempted reverse rear cam shot, but unfortunately it was stopped by Mome, currently in possession of the Hellfire Hogs. Still up 50-30, 2 minutes, 33 seconds left in the game. Counttails does get a nice stop, passes it right up to Dementor. Dementor has absolutely no one on them right now. They are free and clear. It is going to be a 1v1, them against the keeper. They get the dodge into the goal.
They are doing everything they can to make up for those snitch catches, and it's remarkable, and I have to give them props for it because they are doing as good as they can, and this is great to watch.
Absolutely. Fatty Mamadi currently in possession. Looks like he did get a nice little stop, and he gets the goal, putting it 50-50, minute 54 left in the game. Both Seekers still pretty low on the snitch meter, roughly at around 25 to 30%.
Yeah, I mean, we have to wonder how much pressure they are going to continue to get. The fact that they are both so low means that both teams have been doing their absolute best to keep them there. At this rate, there is enough time to get that catch, but another death could preclude either seeker from having enough time to finish off this second snitch.
There we see Dementor going as a midfield chaser, trying to attack the Seeker. Just put as much pressure on Tama as possible, making it a little bit harder for them to catch. Even if there isn't a secondary snitch catch in this game, they want to be up as far as points is concerned. They want that 60-50 lead to continue. to 70-50 to 80-50. Now, with 50 seconds left in the match, it is going to be a little more difficult, especially with teams of this caliber, to put up more than 2 points in those times. But we see the snitch getting ever so close, 50, 60. Pardon me. Counttails does get the stop. Snitch catch rate is currently at about 85 to 90% for the side of the Hogs. I think if you're the Knights, you're going to have to abandon the Quaffle game entirely and focus entirely on the Snitch, which it looks like they are doing as I'm saying
Abs-
it.
Absolutely. I'm watching that from a different perspective, and they look like they were doing everything they could to swarm, but it does not look like they are going to be able to get that stop. Tama does look like he may have the chance. He's getting close. He's going to grab, and he, just misses it. Focusing on the chaser game a little bit early does look like it has been a great decision for the Knights. They figured they couldn't stop that seeker race, so they're just gonna put that quaffle straight down the Hog's throat.
Absolutely. And I think that's the thing that we're seeing as far as the current meta of the game. There's a lot of pressure that's applied to these seekers. And there's a lot of seekers who are trying to like evade rather than be as tanky as possible, thinking that I'll just try to avoid you rather than try to dodge around or, rather than tank the hits. Now, if you're the side of the Hogs, what's your takeaway from that particular game? Because obviously you were watching the side of the Hogs while I was watching the side of the Knights. What was your takeaways? Things that you saw that was maybe a slight mishap or just a slight miscalculation from the side of the Hogs that maybe pushed that from a 1-0 to a 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately for that last game, I did only have two perspectives to watch. Luckily, one was the seeker to give some of that. But I think to me, from the two perspectives that I was able to watch, it did look like they were, I don't want to say leaning a little bit more on that seeker game and really just kind of, oh, he got it. And that may have been the running idea in the chat. Just let Tama get the points, do what we can to stop the bleeding on the chaser race. And if it was a bold strategy, if that's the case. But it just looked like the Knights were having a way better time keeping the Quaffle in their control, and the Hogs didn't look like they had half as much of the ability to keep the Quaffle like they wanted to.
Yeah, obviously the Knights came out with a lot more chaser aggression in these games. We saw in every game, game 1, game 2, game 3, they had a lot more quaffle control rather than seeker pressure. And I think early on, especially with the first snitch taking a little longer to catch than it would normally, obviously we see people who can catch the snitch with 4 minutes, 30 seconds left in the game. And then that leads them to a much easier catch later on. I think in this particular meta of the game, we're seeing a lot of beaters who are going for like full tackle builds, just try to knock down your percentages as much as possible, right? We're seeing a lot of chasers who are running like the 604, right? Just going for one timers back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I think if we are going to see other games like this, I think we're going to need to start seeing a lot of different build opportunities or a lot of different build choices, whether that's and I think after a brief moment, I think we're gonna try to get a quick interview, maybe with Stoner just as the team captain. Let's go ahead and see if we can get that taken care of. Give us 1 second while we try to get that, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. I appreciate you guys holding on. We do have someone very special in our interview room, which is the captain of the Knockout Knights, Mr. Stoner. Stoner, how are you
Howdy,
doing?
howdy.
Now,
What was the question?
oh, I was just saying, as far as the, how did you feel going into game one? Obviously, both teams were, maybe a little bit rusty or, just haven't played in a couple of days. I know the knockout squad obviously practices a hell of a lot.
Yeah, we do practice a hell of a lot. So the MSA Knockout Knights team is comprised of a bunch of different knockout team members. We have like 3 from the Squires, 3 from the Nifflers, and then some from the Knights.
Hmm.
And uh, while we are called the Knockout Knights over here, we are thinking about doing a unique name change so that it's separate, since it is a separate whole team.
Mm,
Um, I captain of the Knights over there, captain of the Knights here for now, while it's called Knights anyway. Uh,
gotcha.
Going into that first game, I knew that Tama was going to give us a hard time. I just knew it because Tama is just a fantastic seeker. First and foremost, I do have to give a shout out to my entire team: Dementor, Ludo, Kiwi, Count Tails, Big Pig, Matt. Ludo and everybody. Trying to run through if I missed anybody off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure I got everybody there. That was here anyway.
I
We
believe
also have
so.
Nemesis, I'm sorry that you have the flu. I love you.
Now,
But going into that match, it was going to be rough. We knew it.
yeah, for sure. It definitely looked like the after the first game, obviously there was the substitution, right? You
Yeah.
decided to take yourself out, and you
Yeah.
decided to bring in uh, some other people as well.
So during game one, I noticed that the play styles of a whole bunch of the hogs were going one way, and of course, I'm not going to completely draw out their strategies here, but I noticed it was going one way, and I said to myself, I think that it'd be better if I put Dementor in, Chaser, and then threw Count-Tails up here, because I know Dementor, Ludo, and Matt have a really nice thing going on for their Chaser game. One of the biggest reasons why I wanted them for this team, and I know that Count-Tails is a great keeper. So if I just tell Count-Tails what I saw from their play, it'll be as if he played game one, and then he'll be able to just jump in, and then I could have Chaser game go a completely different way that'll counter, and then we could get some more on that. Then I also was able to completely. Another thing is I wanted to sit back and then actually watch the rest of the team in game two, assisting a little bit here and there with coaching. Um, but what it really boiled down to was I was able to see where we needed help for game three, and I was able to tell Big Pig where to focus. It really, really paid off, and what a fantastic team.
Yeah, so that game three, it really looked like you guys just decided, you know what? Kill him with a quaffle. Tom was going to do his thing. Is that kind of the mentality you guys went in there with, or was there?
Actually, you're half right. So kill him with Quaffle, sure. Just get as much as we can, push that pretty hard. But also, Tama wasn't really doing a lot of bumps. So because of that, I noticed that Kiwi got downed more by Bilbo than anything else. Because especially in game two, she got downed by an unfortunate tackle bludger timer combo. So I told Big Pig, I says, hey, if you can just focus Bilbo at certain times, like, of course there was call outs like focus Bilbo, focus Tama, like swapping that back and forth. That's Quidditch. But getting that pressure off of Kiwi in key moments, that really led to it. The snitch catches.
Now,
Yeah.
I don't wanna reveal or have you divulge any secrets here. Um,
Huh.
as far as taking the step back and doing a little bit of coaching, were your comments more quick or brief, or did you try to lay out like the full game plan in between, we'll say, like scores?
It's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. So it's quick in that I know that the team can understand when I say this, then this, then this. And one of the best things about playing with such skilled players is that everybody's got their own analysis running all the time. Matt, Ludo, Count Tails, like even Kiwi's jumping in there like, hey, this is what I saw. We pulled that together real quick, especially for game one. That was what it was. We all had to throw that together in game one, and then using that, I was able to analyze better game two, game three, being on the sidelines. But yeah, it's a wild decision for captain to say it's better if I step out here because just play style. I want to put the exact counter. And man, was it needed. Both games being that close is insane.
Yeah, it was, and I think that was a great decision. Obviously, it did wind up coming in your favor. Now, as a fellow captain myself, I'm kind of curious as you guys are coming out of this match. Obviously, you're going to be getting ready for your next one. Are you do you generally try to use this win and go, hey, we have the momentum, let's push, or are you going to go right back into your next practice like nothing ever happened and just kind of just keep pounding away?
We keep pounding away. We go back into the practice as many times as we can. One of the wild things about the MSA team is because it's comprised of a whole bunch of other members of other teams, is that scheduling kind of gets wild because we have to bounce around all other matches that are happening. Say the Squires get a match on this day, and the Knights get a match on this day, and the Nifflers get a match on this day. But luckily, I think that we've got a pretty solid setup going. Soon the knockouts, because we'll be getting to a point where all the captains and teams will have fought each other in matches. We'll start setting up scrims between the knockout teams, and then we'll be able to get even more practice. We got like a whole calendar thing going on.
Gotcha. Is there since you said the whole a calendar, is there any opening for scrimming other teams other than knockouts? Just as a
100%.
sense to like to get more, I'd say raw data, right? Obviously, if you play against the same four teams over and over and over again, eventually it kind of becomes a feedback loop of, okay, well, we noticed this, and then they improve on that, and then they do this, so we improve on this, and then
1000%.
uh, so if you had your dream scrim, who would that be against of all the teams?
Crazy comes.
Crazy Comms.
I'm a firm believer in play the best to be the best.
Hmm.
I'm not going to learn anything by playing people who we beat time and time again. And of course, there are many teams in both MSA and L7 that are just fantastic, absolutely knock out of the park. But if you want to get better, you got to really play the top of the top.
Yeah, I definitely felt that, especially in during the play tests, playing against some of these players. It definitely is a bit of uh, a trial by fire, and you learn a lot coming from games like that.
Shout out to everybody who was cheering us on in the comments and also out in the chats here on Discord and direct messages. You guys are fantastic. Love you all.
So with that, I feel like we should probably just hit you with one last question here. Um,
Sure.
and this is going to be a bit more broad. If there was anything, go ahead and give us anything if you with that you would like to say, either to your teammates to kind of wrap up today, or the opposition, or just give us your final words on today's match as the winning captain.
You guys keep setting them up. We'll keep knocking them out.
All right. Thank you so much, Stoner, for coming in for the interview. I truly appreciate it. I think we
Thank
are
you for
going to
having me.
be winding down. Uh, thank you so much, everybody, for watching. I truly appreciate you guys. And I know everybody here at MSA is appreciative of all the support for both the teams and the league as a whole. And we shall see you next time.
All right, everybody, we are back once again. We have decided to give you guys one more interview. We have Tama here. How are you doing after that tough loss?
Oink oink, first of all, and oink oink from my team. They wanted to say oink oink to everyone. Uh, tough games, really, really, really good matches. I mean, the Knights are good. Especially me going against Kiwi. Kiwi is amazing, an amazing seeker. Those snitches could have went either way, as usual. Um, but I think this is a really good point for us Hogs because we had a really rough start. But our team is coming together, and we've seen that. And Mooney's been really good at keeping us together, our captain. So our comms are getting better. Our our all around ability on the pitch is getting better, and I think we showed what we can do today, even though we took the L.
Hey, listen, you guys put up a real good fight. Every game was close. Uh, Obviously, you
Super.
guys got the first win. The second one was a comeback for the Knights, and literally it went down to the buzzer in game three. Uh,
Yeah.
Osgos was watching you guys, and he said that you were basically about to catch the snitch as the timer hit zero, which would have put the game back in your favor. What was
Yeah.
some things that you noticed in game two that you changed for game three to try to put yourself a little bit more ahead of the game?
So game two, I knew game one because I caught two on Kiwi. That I was gonna get focused out the gate harder than I did game one. So me and Ash coordinated to have her focus the beater off the bat because that would take some of the pressure off me, especially from bludgers. And I did only end up I caught the second snitch there, but the first one was real close. Kiwi caught a good snitch there, but I think that that helped early on, taking the pressure off of me having to dodge bludgers and just focus on getting as much meter as I could.
Did you notice and obviously we're viewing from the stands, quote unquote. So I in particular noticed that they actually were targeting your beater first before they were targeting you. Um, if you had to guess why, do you think that was because your beater was applying too much pressure to Kiwi and that they wanted to relieve some pressure, or were they having a little bit more presence than just in the Seeker game?
I think what was going on was because I was running 640, so I wasn't running bumps there. So I think that most of the pressure that Kiwi was getting was from Ash and our chasers. So I think that they focused her for the same reason that I wanted Ash to focus their beater. They wanted to take some of the pressure off Kiwi so she could um, kind of rearrange there. And I think that worked for them. That worked out for them in the first half of that match.
Yeah, I want to go back to because Shaki mentioned it for a second before. Right there at the end of that game three,
Yep.
you had the notification. You just needed that extra centimeter on the pitch. Was there anything that you can think of towards the end of the game that you may have been able to kind of improve on going forward? Where if you may have cut this corner a little bit, or watched out for this element or whatever. Anything there? Did you think you can kind of use to prevent that type of outcome in the future?
Um, so it was tough because there was probably 10 seconds left in the match. I was mid pitch and I was blue. So I was ready to catch. But um, they had a hero kick activated. So the snitch was flying right at the keeper, and I had to dodge the keeper to try to get the catch bounce off the wall. And when I dodged the keeper's hero kick, which I don't know how the hell I dodged it hero kick, but I dodged it, and it bounced off, and I was too slow to get the rebound off the wall. Um, so in that situation, I don't know if there was much I could have done there, honestly. But um, yeah, that's one of the things I've been. That's one of my weak points, I think, in all my games. Missing snitches that bounce off the wall on catches, and then I just lose the snitch, or like that when the time runs out. So
Mm.
that's definitely something I need to work on.
Now, obviously, the you said it earlier that the Hogs have been, coming together, especially as of late. What do you think your big takeaway on a positive note you got from this particular matchup?
So this matchup, I think that all of us in general, our comms were super tight, and they haven't been in the past. So I think this was a good testament to our practice. And Mooney sends out after every match, she'll send each individual player like a list of things she wants them to work on before our next game, in practice or in our solo queue games. And I think that that really showed up in this game specifically. One with our comms, and two with our entire game. Like our Ash was on point, our beater, our chaser game was tight. Even though we did lose some chaser game, I think we hung in there. And then um, with our seeker focus as well, when we needed it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Ozgaz, any other questions from you?
I guess I'll kind of try to wrap it up like I did with Stoner. Do you have any last words either for your team, opposition, um, for yourself, the stream that you would like to say at this point?
Yeah, I want to just shout out both teams, and I want to give a big shout out to you guys for doing this, and for the MSA team for hosting this tournament and taking their time out to do it because, we're all here because we love Quidditch Champions and we love the game and we're doing this out of passion. Nobody's getting paid for this. We're taking the time out of our busy lives to do it. So, shout out to all you guys for running this and everybody who plays. Shout out to you guys.
What a true classy gentleman. Absolute legend. Tama, thank you so much for coming in for the interview. I truly appreciate it. And I am, after seeing today's game, I am looking forward to seeing your matches in the future. I can only see you guys getting better and better, especially with everything getting better and more tightened up for you guys. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Y'all have an absolutely magical day.